Hello, this week we look at number 7 in our series on managing for the Master till he come. This one's entitled Unto the Least of These, and that of course is referencing Jesus' words of unto the least of these my brethren, to my people. Let's actually read that from Matthew 25, the story of the separation of the sheep and the goats. This is verse 34 and on. Then the king will say to the ones on his right, Come, you who are blessed by my Father, and inherit the kingdom that's been prepared for you from the beginning of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you visited me. And then those who are on the right there will say, Lord, when did we see you in any of those conditions? And the king replies, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of these least important brothers of mine, you did for me. And I find it very interesting that here in Matthew 25, with the separation of the sheep and the goats, we don't see the king saying, well, it's because you had the right theology, or that we had a better picture of God, or that we really gave the right kind of message. In fact, it's only based on what they did. So there's something for us to think about as we go into this study this week. It's all about what we do, because that shows who we truly are. If we don't have that kind of desire to help people, then, as James says, then our faith is meaningless. It's pointless, because what is really proof is the way in which we visit the fatherless and the widows, the poor, all these people who are disadvantaged. And I think that's what we need to look at. Here's a quote from Sinclair Ferguson. Without the Spirit of the Lord Jesus, we will look upon the least of these simply as the least. And isn't that what happens in our world today? Isn't that what we see? The class divisions, the rich, the poor, the way in which we look down on other people as being inferior, as being least. And we might consider these people as being least important, but Jesus is saying they still count. They are people just as you are, and they are my children, and I want them there in my kingdom. So all that you are doing for them, you're doing for me. And of course, the goats on the left are saying, well, when did we see you like that? We never saw you poor or sick or in prison or any of these other things. If we had known it was you, I think the implication is, we would have done something for you. But we didn't see these people as representing you. We didn't see in the faces of the poor and the destitute the face of Jesus. So we didn't do anything. If we'd known it was you, it would have been all different. And the king is saying, I'm afraid you go the other way, because you didn't do what you know you should have done. As Christians, we have a responsibility. Sometimes people talk dismissively of social justice. And yes, it can be a loaded term, and sometimes it's been used in misguided ways. But it still is very much part of the good news. Remember the way in which Jesus announced his ministry there in the synagogue in Nazareth, quoting from the prophet Isaiah, reading from that scroll, making it clear that this is what he came to do. Go back and read what he said, what he quoted, and he sat down saying, today this is fulfilled in your eyes. I am here, and this is my mission, this is my ministry, and it is to all these people who are poor and disadvantaged, these people who really need help. as part of the way in which I demonstrate the truth about God. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. This is what God is truly like.